In this video, I'm going to pick apart the Network Rail graduate scheme, who are offering £29,380 for their fresh graduates who joined their graduate scheme. It's going to be a graduate scheme overview video. I'm going to pick apart the hiring process. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the graduate scheme is and essentially help you to gain more information on how you can get onto this graduate scheme. So these videos are basically designed to show you what kind of graduate schemes are on offer in the UK and give you an idea so that when you're researching and applying to graduate schemes, you can use this video and the other videos on my channel, which are breaking down other graduate schemes, to give you an idea of what it is that you might be interested in and also to align with the right graduate scheme depending on your degree and your interests and things like that. This video is not designed to give you an in-depth tour and basically pick apart every single thing in the graduate scheme. Obviously, you can find a lot of that information on the website itself, but it's designed to give you a quick overview of the graduate scheme in question, and more specifically, it's designed to help you in your research if you're applying to this specific graduate scheme as well. And that will put you at a little bit of a pedestal when it comes to the application process because you'll know a little bit more about the background. And yeah, that's what this video is basically designed to help you achieve. So what we're going to cover in this video, we'll talk about the salary of the scheme, we'll talk about the scheme overview and what it is, we'll talk about the different routes that are on offer in this graduate scheme, we'll talk about the entry requirements, so the things that you need to get into the graduate scheme, and then we'll talk about the all-important hiring process and what you need to even be considered for the scheme. So we'll start off with salary because I'm arguably that's the most important thing. It's £29,380 per year for all of the different routes on this graduate scheme. And that comes to about £2,000, just over £2,000 per month if you work it out after tax. So that's the real take-home pay that you're going to be taking every single month. So that's something to consider. Obviously, depending on where you live, that might be a very, very good monthly salary. For some places like down south and London, you might still be struggling if you're renting out and things like that as well. So just something to keep in mind. It's not the highest paid graduate scheme from what I've seen and the things that I've applied to and the stuff that I review here on my channel, but it's definitely a good salary, 29,380. It's definitely a lot higher than some other salaries which I've seen out there on the market. And you also get a £2,000 welcome bonus as well. And if you're moving to a different city for this graduate scheme, then they kind of expect you to use this £2,000 as a relocation bonus. But if you're not moving, then that's just £2,000 for you to take home and do what you want with. So we've covered the salary. Now let's talk about the scheme overview. So Network Rail basically owns and maintains the rail infrastructure assets across the UK. So they basically own the railway in the whole of the UK. And it's got offices based all over the UK from the north to the south. And they also have different areas and regions for their offices as well. So wherever you're based, there might actually be an office near your location. So it'll be a great idea to research and see what kind of offices offer what schemes near you, and that'll make it easy for you to make a judgment on where you want to go. And essentially, they provide critical infrastructure services to TOCs and FOCs, which are train operating companies and freight operating companies all across the UK. So it's quite a critical piece of service and work that the Network Rail does. It not only owns all of the railway infrastructure in the UK, it also maintains that structure and also maintains the relationships with the TOCs and FOCs and the different train operating companies and freight companies and things like that. So everything that's to do with the railway comes under Network Rail, except for London because that has its own Transport for London system. But anything outside of London, and you know, most of the overground within London is actually owned by Network Rail. So it's quite an interesting place to be in. And I've actually personally worked in Network Rail before as well because I come from a civil engineering background. So yeah, definitely a really good company to work for from based on my experiences. Obviously, everybody's experiences are different, but yeah, that's basically an overview of the scheme. So let's talk about the different routes inside the graduate scheme, different sort of subjects or areas of the business you can go into and the entry requirements that you need for them. So there's a bunch of different graduate schemes that Network Rail offers. and they're in different areas of the business. We'll start off with the first one, and that's going to be the commercial and procurement scheme. It's 20 months long, and you need a 2-2 in any subject. So it could be any degree subject, just need a 2-2, which you'll find in a second is actually quite a low barrier to entry, which is really good for you because if you're an average guy like me, you don't have the best degree in the world or you don't have the best grade in the world. That's a really, really good starting point. So it doesn't, eliminate like half the people just because they haven't got like a first class honors or something. So that's really good. And you'll see that theme throughout the different routes that Network Rail offers. So the commercial, if you want to find out more information on what each of these schemes actually do, I recommend that you go onto the website, but I'm just going to give you an overview here of all the different schemes. So you've got it and you can make a decision whether it's something worth going for. Then we've got the finance scheme, which is 2 years long. And for this one, you need a 2-1 in any subject. I presume this is because it's finance is probably the most competitive and most popular scheme or route, so that's why they've put the barrier up a little bit. But again, it's in any subject, so you can have any subject in the world and you can still get in. We have IT and business, which is 2 years long, and you need a 2-2 in any subject. Network strategy, which is 2 years long, again 2-2 in any subject. Operation management, this is 18 months long, so it's a little bit shorter, and 2-2 in any subject for this one. Project management, 2 years long, 2-2 in any subject. Then we have some specific ones where you need specific degrees. So we have the property graduate scheme, which is 3 years long, and you need a 2-2 in commercial real estate degree or something similar. Civil engineering graduate scheme is 2 years long. You need a 2-2 in civil engineering for that. Electrical engineering is 2 years long. You need a 2-2 in electrical engineering for that. And then we've got mechanical engineering, which is 2 years long, and you need a 2-2 mechanical engineering degree. Now, the reason why I've listed them all out like this is because if I can get my pen out here, I just want to show you how easy it actually is to get into one of these graduate schemes, just based on your degree, right? I'm not talking about the hiring process yet. Obviously, that's a different ballgame, but I'm just saying the first sort of benchmark is actually very low for the Network Rail graduate scheme, which is a good thing because if you take out finance just from this list that I'm just going to talk about, all the rest of these, all the way down to project management, these are open to basically anyone with any degree. And the 2-2, like as long as you haven't got a third class honors degree, which I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this probably haven't, that basically includes almost 99% of the population of graduates that are applying, because you'll have at least a 2-2, and it'll be in any subject, right? It doesn't actually matter what subject it's in. So that means that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole graduate schemes that you can apply to with Network Rail, just based on being a graduate. Okay. Now, if you have got a 2-1, then that's even better because you can apply to the finance one as well. And if you've got something specific, like one of these degrees, then again, you only need a 2-2 in these. You don't even have to have a really, really high mark in these. You can still apply to the property, the engineering schemes. There's lots to choose from, basically. That's what I'm trying to say, which hopefully should give you the motivation to start applying. So let's talk about the hiring process. So we've got 4 stages in the hiring process. We've got the online application, we've got the online tests, we've got the video interview, and we've got the assessment center. So this is the 4 things that Network Rail take you through. And like you can see here, if you want more information on passing each of these stages, then I highly recommend that you check out my graduate scheme success guide. And this is going to be linked in the description below. And it's basically the secret strategies that I used to secure multiple graduate schemes this past year. So I was able to bag a bunch of graduate schemes, but it wasn't always like that, by the way. Like, it took me 3-4 years to get to that point. So in this guide, I basically just talk about the secrets to getting onto a graduate scheme. I give you some winning strategies for the graduate scheme hiring process, and I give you the best practices that you need to kind of get onto graduate schemes. And the link to this will be in the description below. But yeah, that's basically everything that you need to know from an overview standpoint for the Network Rail graduate scheme. And like I said, if you get the graduate scheme guide, it'll help you even more. If this is a graduate scheme that you want to get onto, just know that it is going to be quite competitive, and the way to stand out is obviously not with your degree, because a lot of people will have these degrees it's going to be the hiring process. It's going to be the online application, the online test, the video interview, and the assessment center. This is probably the hardest out of the lot, but even these can be quite difficult. And the online test can be really annoying as well, because if you get like one question wrong or something, it can just kick you out the whole process. And you need to pass this. You need to pass this in order to move on to this, and you have to pass this to move on to this, and you have to pass that to move on to the assessment center, which is the last stage in the process. So like I said, best thing to do, download the graduate scheme success guide, and I'll give you all the information that you need for that. But yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.